Hey, Miles Beckler here. In this video, we're going to go over a webinar funnel, and you're going to see a webinar funnel template and learn why webinars are one of the hottest funnels being used online today. So the first thing to keep in mind is the right or the appropriate timing and use and product for a webinar. Generally speaking, you're going to want to use a webinar when you're selling something that's between $297 to $497 on the low end, so like a $300 to $500 product, all the way up to about a $2,000 product. Now, anything above $2,000 is still possible, but generally speaking, that's going to become going to require some one-on-one interaction with a salesperson, or whether it's at a live event type upsell, etc. Below the $300 or below the $500 mark, a webinar can often be too much energy required for the kind of return on investment. I have products that literally sell for $495, $297, and we don't do webinars for those at all. We just do sales videos and just text sales letters for those, and they work great. We still convert fantastic. So webinars, the sweet spot, I would say, would be between about $500 and $2,000. Another really cool part about webinars is you get a level of audience interaction. So you get to know your customer avatar a little bit more. You get to learn more about what their questions are, their desires are, right there live. There's generally a mechanism that allows them to type in their questions. You don't have to answer them. You can, but it gives you good feedback. So as you keep doing webinars one after the next, you can kind of refine your messaging, and you can even go back and refine your product so that it offers people what they're looking for. So if you see a kind of a frequently asked question that you're not covering in your webinar, obviously you want to cover that. And if that's not a module within your course, then you have the ability to go back, add that module, or create a bonus that would answer that question to make sure that your product is delivering the answers that your target market is looking for. Now, inherently, a webinar funnel is really, really simple. The cool part is you get a really good list building tool up front in the registration page, and then you get a really solid kind of monetization method on the back end through the webinar itself. The challenge is that the number of people who register and the number of people who generally show up for a webinar, it's a significant decrease. And that's why it's important to get them on your email list so you can follow up with them. You can send them a replay of the webinar, and you can kind of market to them in different ways. If they don't buy, if they do buy, you're able to segment your lists really effectively, and then you communicate with them separately. If they do buy, you can take them to the next step in your kind of lifetime customer value sequence. If they don't buy, you can potentially try a lower end product, another product, or try to get them onto another webinar. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to move myself out of the way, and let's look at what is a simple webinar funnel. So this is it right here, and you'll notice it looks really, really similar to the self-liquidating offer or the simple sales funnel. And essentially what you're going to do is you run traffic to a registration page, and the registration page is going to promote the free webinar. It's going to have the exact time, and it's going to tell them that they're going to learn the secret to blank. So it's the same basic idea as all of our other messages. The real difference comes in the actual webinar performance. So they get on the email list here once they register, and then the email list follow-up sequence will notify them when the webinar is coming up, whether you're using Webinar Jam, GoToMeeting, or Hangouts. They can put it on their Google Calendar. And then once it starts live, it's essentially going to be a headline up top and the video of you. Now, the Order Now button is generally not shown right away. You're generally going to just have kind of a screen share or a talking head, like this is a talking head and a screen share at the same time. But you're going to work with them and talk with them about the problem and the solution for generally about 45 minutes. And then when you announce the product that can take them deeper, that's when the Order Now button pops up. Or you can refer them to a specific URL, and you mention that they get a special price for being on the webinar, and just go to yourdomain.com/webinar special in order to get that price, and you're able to paste the link. So generally there'd be like a little chat box down here where you're able to chat back and forth with them. Now, a lot of professionals who do webinars, there will be multiple people working the webinar. There's going to be the talent, who's going to be the person on camera and the person explaining it. They're usually the personality in the advertisement, and they're also the personality that they're going to be learning from. So they're the expert, if you will. And then you often will find that there's a behind the scenes person who's actively answering questions in the chat, monitoring the chat, and potentially notifying the talent of really good questions and kind of answering or defending or deflecting some of the not as good questions, because people like to ask questions about them and their specific situation. And on a webinar, you generally want to tailor your message to the whole group. So it's difficult to get into those one-on-one situations. And having somebody to weed through those kinds of messages and to deliver you, the talent, the really solid messages goes a long way. So after that, they go to an order page, and this is where they get a special offer. Generally, this is going to be a time-sensitive offer. Usually, it's going to be like open for 12 to 24 hours after the webinar. And once they purchase, they go on to receive the delivery of the product. Now, this looks really simple, I know, because it is really simple. Here's where the magic happens. Number one is the conversion rate on the registration pages can generally be very good. You don't really have to build a lead magnet before you run your registration page. All you have to do is put this together and commit to showing up on your webinar, and you have an effective page that you're able to begin marketing and generate leads with. If you don't have a system to collect this, ClickFunnels is a great system. I'll link to that below in the comments of the video here. They have a lot of webinar registrations. They even have pages that allow you to plug in your webinar system into them to embed it, so you can really run an entire webinar funnel on ClickFunnels. They can manage the order and the delivery of the product as well. Again, the challenge, as I stated, was getting people to show up. You know, I said Wednesday at 5:30, right? Like getting people to actually show up at Wednesday at 5:30. It's not a huge deal, but you can expect less than 50% of people who register to actually show up on your webinar. So if you're hoping to have 25 people on your webinar, I would make sure I market myself to get at least 100 registrations, at least 50. I would shoot for 100. I would expect 20 to 25% of people to actually show up. The good news is webinars have a really high conversion rate. There's something magical about the one-on-one experience with the teacher. It does create a more impacting kind of event or experience versus a fully automated funnel. Now, you can automate webinar funnels and make evergreen funnels, which is playing a recorded webinar, but you want to be upfront about that. If you want to see a great webinar funnel in action that's totally automated, that's evergreen, I'm going to link you below to what's called the Funnel Hacks webinar. I'll shoot you a link to it in the comments. Check it out. He goes over his take on the webinar funnel, which is brilliant. The dude is an absolute genius. He's one of the few people I study, but you'll be able to see how that works. When you register, that webinar plays once every hour. So if you register, like right now it's 1:16 when I'm recording this, if I go register for his webinar, it would let me know the next one starts at 2 p.m. and it would take me through the full process as if it was a live webinar, and you can see what a powerful experience that is. The third thing I'm going to mention, and this is going to be the third link below in the comments, is the perfect webinar script. Now, this is a free giveaway from Russell Brunson. He has generated over $30 million. That's $30 million in revenue with this script. And what the script really does is it tells you how to transition from teaching your content to delivering your offer in a way that's really, really psychologically sound, and it really gets people to take action. And it'll create, if you're already doing webinars, it'll create a massive bump in your conversions from attendees to customers simply by following his script. And again, he'll give it to you free. So that's going to be one of the third link below, which is the webinar secrets script. Excuse me. Sorry, I got three things I'm trying to keep in my mind what I need to deliver below here. And that's really it. So if you have a product that's in the $500 to $2,000 range and you're not doing webinars, this is a massive, massive opportunity for you. You're literally missing out. So go through the resources I've linked below and check them out so you can see not only a webinar, how it works, you can not only see the tool of how to build a webinar registration system and delivery system really easily, but you can also get the script to get you to do it well. If you're working with one of the other funnels that we've covered, let's say you're still doing the simple affiliate funnel, or you're still doing the advanced self-liquidating funnel that we covered. What the webinar can be is a great back of funnel addition to what you're already doing. So you would leave those funnels in place. You would continue marketing to those funnels. And then when you launch a webinar, you invite your subscribers and you invite your customers to come join you on the webinar. You still send them through the registration process. You give them a few days to a week or more to register and have time to prepare and block out of their schedule the actual webinar. But what it does is you already have a relationship with those people, and this is a way to ascend them from a $17 product or a $27 or $37 product into a $500 or $1,000 product. Now, the front of your funnel in that situation would be the simple kind of affiliate funnel, or the simple or the advanced affiliate funnel. That would be the front end, because the revenue generated from that creates more of an ad budget for you. Then in that situation, this webinar funnel would be the back of your funnel. And the back of your funnel is where you actually make all of your money. So since your marketing is covered by that front end funnel, the back of the funnel becomes pure profit. So if you can bring in a few hundred subscribers per day with a simple funnel on the front end, and then every week you hold a webinar where you invite those 21 to 2,800 subscribers to your webinar funnel, and you get 20% showing up, we're talking 500 people showing up. There's the potential to close dozens, if not hundreds of people on a $500 product. And with those two funnels stacked on top of each other, the simple funnel followed by a webinar funnel, you have a mechanism that's not only going to create self-liquidating like return on investment for your marketing on the front end, but a significant income creation system on the back end. And that, my friend, is how people generate multiple six-figure businesses online when they're only managing maybe 7 or 8 pages, right? You have about 4 pages on the front end of the funnel, you have 3 pages on this back end of the funnel, and between that you can literally create a 6-7 figure annual business or more. And the cool part is all of this could be done within ClickFunnels. So again, I'm Miles Beckler. I thank you very much for your time. If you're not doing webinars, you really need to start doing them. And if you're doing them without the perfect webinar script, you are absolutely leaving a ton of money on the table. So go into the comments below, go into the comments below, or the description below where I've got the links. Then leave me a comment after that, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when the next videos come out. I'm Miles Beckler. I thank you for your time, and happy marketing.